gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
New details about a Clay County teen accused of killing their parents in their Middleburg home. And tonight, the 14-year-old's best friend is speaking with News 4 Jax. Family member also shared this photo of David Lee and Brandi Smith with us.
Their 14-year-old son, Trevor Lee, is now charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder. Their home sits near Silver Point and County Road 220. News 4 Jax reporter Alicia Hatcher went to the neighborhood where it happened and spoke with the teen's friend.
One of Trevor's closest friends, Kyrie Beeman, met us right outside of the Lee family home. He says he's known Trevor since elementary school and he just saw him Friday. He also says he spoke with him over the phone around 12:30 this morning, and the conversation they had, he'll never forget.
Damn.
He told me that he loved me, and he told me that he was just calling to tell me goodnight.
The best friend of a teen now accused of murder replays the last conversation they had before learning the shocking news. Crime scene tape lined a Middleburg neighborhood Monday morning after a chilling 911 call from a 14-year-old boy.
Our 911 communications center received a call from a young man who stated he had just killed his parents.
Boom. Now, we have a 14-year-old young man who crashed out on his parents, deleted them both, and we've seen this before. We've seen this before, right? But, you know, usually we hear about stories like this from the glider community, right? Where a young kid crashes out on their parents, but this type of behavior has also infected the community. And very unfortunate situation. More details are to be learned, but one thing is for certain: these super teen gremlins are on demon time.
He stated that deputies could find his parents at the house and that he had walked just over a mile away to a church.
Deputies responded and arrested 14-year-old Trevor Lee. When deputies got to the home, they found David Lee and Brandi Smith shot and killed inside.
So it looks like he is mixed here. So very, very different situation. I don't know if the father is Hispanic or white. He looks white. But obviously this young man was having some type of internal issues to do this.
Brandi Smith shot and killed inside.
Preliminary investigation, and we're still very early in this investigation. It appears that there was some sort of domestic argument last night between Trevor Lee and his parents, and that this shooting culminated from that argument.
When we arrived on scene, a family member was there but declined to speak. But one person did open up, someone who didn't just know the family, he considered them his own.
They were probably the best or one of the best families I knew. They were funny, and they treated me very well. They told me all the time that they loved me like a son, and they treated me as such.
Wow, man, and that's crazy. It seems like the parents were definitely a dynamic duo, stand-up couple. So I wonder what disagreement would have pushed this young man to do this, and where did he get the firearm in the first place?
Kyrie says it's still hard to believe, but he hopes people remember Trevor for more than just what happened.
He's not a bad person just because he made one bad decision. He's done so much for everyone I know, and I don't want him just to be known as a killer or a murderer, and that he was a great kid.
Well, that's what he's going to be known for, bud.
A great son.
Coming up on News 4 Jax at 6, we'll share the moment Kyrie says he will always cherish that he shared with the Lee family. For now reporting, Alicia Hatcher, Channel 4, the local station.
We're seeing the face of the teen who stands accused of killing his parents.
Wow, and that's very significant because we usually don't see the news post the face of a teen who's been convicted of a serious crime, or not convicted, but charged with a serious crime like this. So here he is, the face of a monster, the face of a killer, right before our eyes.
14-year-old Trevor Lee facing 2 counts of second-degree murder, and for the first time tonight, we're hearing his voice in the newly released 911 dispatch recording. I want to warn you, hearing the call may be disturbing.
You first?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, I'll listen to you. Well, I was going to ask if you could pray for me, ma'am. Right now, I'll definitely be praying for you, son.
Investigators say Lee was outside a church when he dialed 911 and reported himself. He stayed on the phone until deputies got to his location and took him into custody.
News for Jax reporter Eric Avenese here in studio with us with more on this new information he obtained in this case. Eric?
Yeah, we were...
And you know, it just makes you see, it makes you think, was there abuse in the home? Was there something going on that we aren't privy to? Because what would push him to do this if the family was good and they had a good relationship and the family was nice and funny and taking in other kids as if they were their own? It looks like that kid that was his best friend was involved in sports. Maybe he was involved in sports as well. It just makes you wonder.
Able to acquire a lot more information than what we had yesterday when we first reported this story. Now, we now know where in the house the parents were killed and the extent of their fatal injuries. We also found out that the 14-year-old called his aunt in California before he called 911 to turn himself in. Just one day after 44-year-old David Lee and 45-year-old Brandi Smith were found shot to death inside their Silver Oak subdivision home in Middleburg, News for Jax has learned the couple was in their bed when they were shot multiple times.
Wow, so he shot them while they were asleep. There's no justification for this. Even if there was abuse, which I'm leaning on the side of doubt for that. It's just, you know, you shoot your defenseless parents. This dude was just possessed, demonic even. You know, and then he wanted the dispatcher to pray for him. It's got to be something going on spiritually inside of this young man and other youth in our community.
Both were pronounced deceased when paramedics arrived. Investigators identified the killer as the couple's son, 14-year-old Trevor Lee. After the parents were murdered, Lee called his aunt in California. She then called Clay County 911 dispatch. What her nephew told her was redacted from the 911 recording.
They're in the house. Please, 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 please. Send help immediately. Ambulance, whatever, immediately.
The teen traveled to a nearby church parking lot and called 911. He stayed on the line until deputies arrived to take him into custody.
I'm by the road. I threw my backpack away from me. I'm stripped. I'm waiting for police. What do you mean you're stripped? I have nothing in my pocket. I emptied my pockets and everything. There's nothing in my pockets.
While most of his conversation with the dispatcher was redacted, we hear him ask the dispatcher to pray for him.
Do you pray?
Yes, sir.
Damn, I wonder why they redacted part of that call. I guess it's because he's so young.
Go ahead, I'll listen to you. Well, I was going to ask if you could pray for me, ma'am. Right now, I'll definitely be praying for you, son.
Cooked.
These parents are dead in their bed.
Retired JSO Director of Investigations turned News for Jax crime and safety analyst Tom Hackney says this was no doubt a heinous crime carried out by a kid, but he also says the fact that the teen called 911 to surrender himself says something.
Instant remorse. When you hear the sound of his voice and you hear kind of what he's going through, aside from the redacted part, you hear some instant remorse. And I think that's kind of bolstered by the fact that he left the scene and goes immediately to call 911 and turn himself in.
Now, the 14-year-old remains in custody at the Regional Juvenile Detention Center in Jacksonville. So far, he has not been charged as an adult.
Right now, deputies are working to figure out why a 14-year-old allegedly killed his parents.
Yeah, deputies say the teen called 911 just after midnight, saying he killed David Lee and Brandi Smith. The bodies were found inside a home on Silver Point and Country Road 220 in Clay County. Deputies found the teen at a church about 1 mile away from the home. And Action Jackson's live team coverage of these murders.
We start with anchor Emily Turner, who spoke with a family member, the only one to get a chance to speak with that family member about this tragedy they're experiencing now.
It's just absolutely devastating no matter which way you look at it. A young teenager in jail for the murder of his parents. His parents have now passed. They were shot and killed last night. And there is one surviving family member. We're told it's a daughter who's in her 20s who doesn't live here, now left to deal with the tragedy all alone.
Good kid, straight A student.
Instead of starting high school next week, 14-year-old Trevor Lee is behind bars. Kyrie Bayman is his best friend and says he would never have thought this possible.
He was funny, charismatic. He always brought good energy, good vibes.
But now he's charged with killing both of his parents.
And, you know, they are in Jacksonville, so, I mean, that Jackson kill mentality can rub off on you. It's very easy to see what's going on in Jacksonville and start thinking you hard and start thinking you a gangster and then ultimately crashing out.
It happened just after midnight. Clay County Sheriff Michelle Cook says David Lee and Brandi Smith were shot to death.
It appears that there was some sort of domestic argument last night between Trevor Lee and his parents, and that this shooting culminated from that argument.
Deputies are now tasked with figuring out what that fight was about and whether there were any behavioral issues before.
I don't know what caused them to do it, so.
Brandi's cousin, James Lewis, still can't believe it.
I guess I never know what caused them to do that, because, like I say, he had good parents. So for him to, do that, we don't know why.
He says the family seemed close and always got along.
They were probably the best or one of the best families I knew. They were funny and they treated me very well. They told me all the time that they loved me like a son.
Just makes you wonder what really made him snap. What was this really about? Was it about a video game? They took a video game from him. Was it that he didn't want to go to school next week and they were telling him he had to? Or was he just instantly demonically possessed and just went out and committed this heinous act?
And the Clay County Sheriff's Office is working to figure out what that argument was about, and as a result have been asking folks in the community, neighbors, friends of the family, to come forward and talk to them so they can get a clearer picture of exactly what happened and why this escalated so far. Reporting live in Middleburg, Emily Turner, Action News Jax.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
Him just to be known as a killer or a murderer, and that he was a great kid, a great son, and a great brother.
The Clay County Sheriff's Office says 14-year-old Trevor Lee killed his parents, then called 911 to turn himself in. According to Clay County Sheriff Michelle Cook, the teenager got into an argument with his parents, 44-year-old David Lee and 45-year-old Brandi Smith, before the shooting.
Our Christina Burgess is joining us live outside the home. Christina, you've been there since this morning, speaking with family and friends. What have they been telling you?
Yeah, Heather and Anthony, family, friends, and even neighbors who knew the couple and their son, they tell me that they are shocked and saddened at this news. They also say that the family appeared to be your typical family.
They were probably one of the best families I knew. They were funny and they treated me very well. They told me all the time that they love me like a son, and they treated me as such.
14-year-old Kyrie Beeman came to David Lee and Brandi Smith's home almost every week to hang out with his best friend, Trevor Lee. Monday afternoon, Beeman is now praying in front of the home where the couple was shot and killed at by their 14-year-old son, Trevor. According to Clay County Sheriff Michelle Cook, 14-year-old Trevor Lee got in an argument with his parents Sunday night. Police say the teen shot and killed his parents, then called 911 and surrendered at a nearby church. Beeman says he last spoke with Lee around midnight.
He told me that he loved me, and he told me that he was just calling to tell me goodnight. Trevor isn't a bad person. He made some bad mistakes, and he will suffer the consequences of them, but that's not all he was.
Well, she was a happy person. I mean, just a good person all the way around.
James Lewis is cousins with Brandi Smith and says her family was like any other.
And he obviously didn't have control of his temper, it seems. So, man, out of all the people speaking on his behalf, they're saying he's a good kid. But for him to do this, it's hard to believe.
Every time I seen him laughing, joking, doing family things.
2 parents gone, a teen behind bars, and a Middleburg community now rattled forever.
The Trevor that did this, I don't know that Trevor. And the Trevor that I knew and all of our friends knew, I will continue to be friends with him. And I pray that the Trevor that did this died last night.
And according to Sheriff Michelle Cook, they are currently looking into Trevor Lee's mental health history. The teen is being charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder. Reporting live in Middleburg, Christina Burgess, First Coast News, on your side.
A double murder investigation in Clay County. A 14-year-old boy is in custody, accused of killing his own parents at their Middleburg home, then walking to a church to call 911. Tonight, someone who called that family his own is speaking with News4JAX about this tragic loss.
They were probably the best or one of the best families I knew. They were funny, and they treated me very well. They told me all the time that they loved me like a son, and they treated me as such.
The Clay County Sheriff's Office says David Lee and Brandi Smith were shot and killed. A family member sharing this photo of the couple with us.
Their 14-year-old son, Trevor Lee, is charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder. The shooting happened at a home in the area of Silver Point and County Road 220 in Middleburg. News4JAX reporter Alicia Hatcher is there gathering details and speaking with one of Trevor Lee's close friends.
Kyrie Beeman says he was at this house nearly every week and considered the Lee family as his own. He says he and Trevor played football together, and just this past Friday, Trevor and his dad, David Lee, gave him a ride to and from practice. And now Kyrie is still trying to separate the friend he grew up with from the crime he's accused of.
I just didn't think it was real.
Kyrie Beeman, now standing outside of a home he once considered a second home, still trying to process the unthinkable. The Clay County Sheriff says a 14-year-old boy called 911 saying he had just killed his parents, then walked to a nearby church to wait for deputies. That teen was Trevor Lee, Kyrie Beeman's best friend.
He was funny, charismatic. He always brought good energy, good vibes, and he was probably one of the best people I knew.
Kyrie says he and Trevor had been friends since elementary school, and they spoke on the phone just after midnight.
He told me that he loved me, and he told me that he was just calling to tell me goodnight.
Now Kyrie is asking the community not to judge his friend by this one moment alone. Kyrie tells me he's going to continue to push forward for Mr. Lee, Brandi, and even Trevor. For now reporting, Alicia Hatcher, Channel 4, the local station.
I'll listen to you. Well, I was going to ask if you could pray for me, ma'am. Right now, I'll definitely be praying for you, son.
First at 6, 911 calls released today in the double murder of a Clay County couple.
The suspect, their 14-year-old son. We are hearing more of those calls in just a few moments. But we want to thank you for joining us on First Coast News tonight at 6. I'm Jeannie Blaylock.
And I'm Heather Crawford. Anthony Austin has the night off. Tonight, we are also getting our first look at the suspect, 14-year-old Trevor Lee, who made that 911 call you just heard. Tonight, our Kenzie Krieger is walking us through what that teenager told dispatchers. So, Kenzie, what do we know so far in this disturbing case?
Yes, deputies say after the shooting, Trevor Lee walked about a mile from his home over here to a nearby church where he then called 911. His words on that 911 call paint a heartbreaking picture of what happened next. This is where deputies say 14-year-old Trevor Lee waited after shooting his parents in their Middleburg home. He called 911 from Cross Point Church, about a mile away, and asked dispatchers for help and for prayer.
I'm gonna pray first. I need to pray. You need to pray? Yes, ma'am.
In the call, Trevor tells dispatchers he threw away his backpack and emptied his pockets while waiting for police to arrive.
I'm by the road. I threw my backpack away from me. I'm stripped. I'm waiting for the police. What do you mean you're stripped? I have nothing in my pocket. I emptied my pockets and everything.
Inside the home, deputies found 44-year-old David Lee and 45-year-old Brandi Smith, both shot to death in their bedroom. Investigators say the teen used a gun that belonged to his parents and left it at the scene.
Damn. Used a parent's gun.
Officer, How can I help you?
Hello, please. I need some help.
In another 911 call, a caller from Odysse tried to understand what could have happened.
So I think this was the auntie who he called before.
I'm out of state. I'm in the military. I don't know what goes on. But they just had a good day. They went to the movies, bro. They went to the movies.
The sheriff says the shooting appears to have stemmed from an argument Sunday night. Deputies are now looking into Trevor's mental health and school history. He's charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder. The 911 call Trevor made ends with a quiet moment and a request.
Can you pray?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. I'll listen to you.
Well, I was going to ask if you could pray for me, ma'am. Right now.
I'll definitely be praying for you, son.
If you have any information, the Clay County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help. Live in Middleburg, Kenzie Krieger, First Coast News, on your side.
A developing story tonight. A 14-year-old boy is in custody after Clay County deputies say he had killed his parents. This map shows the location of this incident. It happened earlier today near Silver Point and County Road 220. The question on everyone's mind is, why did this happen?
There's all these other potential reasons for a child killing a parent, like mental health problems or just a child being completely impulsive in a given moment.
44-year-old David Lee and 45-year-old Brandi Smith. They were found shot to death inside their home in Middleburg. Investigators say their son, 14-year-old Trevor Lee, walked to a nearby church, called 911, and then waited for deputies to arrest him. That teen was taken to the Regional Juvenile Detention Center in Jacksonville, where he remains tonight. News for Jax reporter Eric Avanier joining us live outside the detention center. And Eric, I know you spoke with a forensic psychologist about what could be behind this kind of killing.
Yes, I certainly did earlier today. And I just want to point out to our viewers, this type of crime is called a parricide, or in this case, parricides, because we're talking about 2 victims. And it's defined as a child killing a parent. Now, while Trevor Lee is locked up here at the juvenile detention.
Never really heard that time. Parricide. Sounds like parasite, but man, it's just, this is heavy right here. This is heavy because they're saying it could be mental health, impulsivity, anger issues. But you got the friend saying he was a good kid, all this kind of stuff. Then on the dispatch, he's wanting to pray. Man, feel bad for the parents, but apparently there was a Facebook post made in 2019 of the mother saying, oh, this boy is driving me crazy, or something to that effect, which I'll show you guys after this video. And unfortunately, he drove her crazy to death.
Center on 2 counts of murder. He will undergo a series of mental health evaluations to help investigators find out why he did this and why he killed his parents. A tragedy that none of the neighbors in the Silver Oak subdivision saw coming.
For it to get to that point to where you feel like that was the only option he had is the saddest thing that you could possibly think of.
Seth Myers is referring to the death of his neighbors, identified as 44-year-old David Lee and 45-year-old Brandi Smith, Both were found shot to death inside their home. Clay County investigators say the killer was their 14-year-old son, Trevor Lee. Detectives believe the teen gained access to his parents' gun to commit parricide, a term used to describe a child killing his or her parents.
First of all, it's very unusual.
I consulted with forensic child psychologist Justin D'Arenzo to help understand the psychology behind parricide. He says there are several reasons why children kill their parents.
So kids that are experiencing depression or significant anxiety or some other mental health problem,
or abuse,
or kids that are maybe addicted to drugs, or even that have a neurocognitive or developmental disorder, have a greater likelihood of doing something like this. But of course, it's very rare.
In fact, it's so rare that according to the Parricide Prevention Institute, only 2% of all U.S. murders since 2010 were identified as parricide cases. And while it's easy to assume kids killed their parents in retaliation for abuse, the data shows that in 65% of the cases, the kids who killed their parents were not abused.
Damn, well, I guess I'm wrong as hell. Yeah, I mean, you would think that that would be the main cause of it, but obviously, now that we have the data, we realize that it isn't. So, damn, that's even more scary, man. Makes you think twice about having kids. Obviously, this is very rare, like they said, but to have kids, you know, you have that beautiful moment where you birth a child, and then 14 years later, they come into your bedroom while you're asleep and just dome you. It's gotta be, I mean, that's just insane. These super teen gremlins are on demon time.
The one thing about this case that's so interesting is that he walked to a nearby church, called 911, and waited for the deputies to take him into custody. That's got to be unusual too.
That does sound unusual, and it reminds me, or it tells me, that he's probably, that this was more of an impulsive act. There may have been like a domestic dispute, a big fight, and then he impulsively did this, and then he realized what he did, and he felt very guilty about it.
Can that be considered redeeming?
Yeah, I think, you know, it says that there's regret, that, you know, he's apologetic. He's probably couldn't believe what he just did.
I just don't see. I mean, you go, you grab the gun, you stand over them for however long, and you sleep them while you shoot them while they're asleep. I just don't see it, man. There's no way. It takes steps to do that. So there is some type of forethought. Yeah, I'm just not buying it, man. I mean, I hear what he's saying in the phone call and all that stuff, but kid sounds like pure evil.
Right now, the teen has not been charged as an adult. Of course, should that status change, we will let you know both on air and on our website, news4jax.com. Reporting live, Eric Avignon, Channel 4, the local station.
All right, guys. So as you can see, his mom, Brandi Smith Lee, in 2019, March 18, 2019, posted, "This little boy gives me pure hell. Everything I did to my parents, I'm getting it back times 10. Y'all keep us lifted up in prayer." So, I mean, this was definitely, it could have been taken as playful, but obviously, 6 years later, it seems very much serious. It's looking like she was already declaring he was a problem child 6 years ago. Okay, and the comments definitely are weighing in. One says he was a problem child and they ignored the warning signs, and now it's a true crime headline instead of a family. Somebody else said he should have been sent off to military school. Yep. I bet the father tried using the timeout and you're grounded on the boy. That stuff doesn't work on problem children. Somebody says it's in his eyes. Somebody posted a meme, "What a lovely day on the internet," and then the dog's like, "Good Lord. Kids should get the death penalty," someone says. Somebody says, "Crazy AF. That's why these kids need discipline, old school ass whoopings. Who do you even blame in this situation? How did he get both of them? So comments go on, weighing in on the situation. Obviously, this is tragic, but I want to hear what you guys think in the comments. So make sure you drop a comment after watching this video. Very tragic story, very sad story. And it just goes to show everything that I preach on this channel is definitely coming to fruition, and we're ahead of the curve here. So y'all be safe, and just remember in the back of your head, these super teen gremlins are on demon time.
Gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.